Imagine spending decades building some of the world's most desirable supercars, only to discover that your greatest challenge wasn't coming from Italy or Germany, but from Japan. During the 1980s, Ferrari represented the dream of every driving enthusiast. Porsche had perfected the everyday sports car. Lamborghini built machines that looked like they came from another planet. Meanwhile, Honda was known for reliable economy cars, motorcycles, and Formula One engines. Nobody expected Honda to build a true supercar. In fact, most people believed it simply couldn't be done. But behind the scenes, Honda had a vision that seemed almost impossible. The company didn't want to build a cheaper Ferrari or another fast sports car. It wanted to create a machine that could outperform Europe's finest while eliminating the compromises that owners had accepted for decades. Personally, I think that's what makes the Acura NSX one of the most remarkable cars ever created. It wasn't born from tradition or heritage, it was born from ambition. Honda wanted to prove that technology, precision engineering, and reliability could exist in a world dominated by emotion and exclusivity. The project officially began in the mid-1980s under the name New Sports Car Experimental, better known as NSX. Engineers were given an extraordinary challenge: build a supercar that delivered the performance of a Ferrari, the engineering precision of a Porsche, and the reliability people expected from a Honda. Cost was not the primary concern. Perfection was. Honda assembled some of its brightest engineers and invested years into research, testing, and development. The company drew valuable experience from its success in Formula One, where Honda-powered cars were dominating the championship alongside legends like Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. The knowledge gained from racing would directly influence the development of the NSX, from chassis rigidity to engine responsiveness and overall driver confidence. One of the boldest engineering decisions was the construction of an all-aluminum monocoque chassis and body. At the time, this was virtually unheard of for a production car. Aluminum significantly reduced weight while increasing rigidity, but it was also far more expensive and much more difficult to manufacture than traditional steel. Honda even developed entirely new production techniques and trained workers specifically for the NSX because no existing factory had experience building a car like this. Every detail reflected Honda's obsession with engineering excellence. The suspension geometry was inspired by Formula One, visibility was unusually good for a mid-engine supercar, and the cockpit was designed to make the driver feel confident rather than intimidated. Then came one of the most famous moments in automotive history. During development, Formula One world champion Ayrton Senna was invited to evaluate the prototype at Suzuka Circuit. After driving the car, Senna reportedly encouraged Honda's engineers to make the chassis even stiffer, believing the car had greater potential than they had already achieved. His feedback led to additional refinements that helped transform the NSX into one of the most balanced drivers' cars ever built. Whether you were a professional racer or an ordinary enthusiast, the NSX inspired confidence in a way very few supercars ever had. When it finally debuted in 1990, the automotive world was stunned. Beneath its sleek, timeless body sat a naturally aspirated 3.0-liter DOHC VTEC V6 producing 270 horsepower, paired with either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic transmission. While those numbers didn't completely overshadow Ferrari or Porsche on paper, the way the NSX delivered its performance was revolutionary. It was smooth, predictable, beautifully balanced, and astonishingly easy to drive. Unlike many European exotics that demanded constant attention and often punished mistakes, the NSX welcomed its driver with precision, confidence, and everyday usability. Personally, I think that's exactly why it became such an icon. Honda didn't simply build another supercar, they completely changed the definition of what a supercar could be, and although many people didn't realize it immediately, the entire automotive industry was about to feel the impact. When the Acura NSX finally reached customers, it didn't just impress journalists, it completely changed the expectations people had for a supercar. Until that moment, buying an exotic European sports car usually meant accepting compromises. Ferraris were breathtaking to look at and thrilling to drive, but they were often temperamental, expensive to maintain, and not particularly comfortable for everyday use. Porsche had earned a reputation for engineering excellence, yet even the legendary 911 required experience to drive quickly because of its unique rear-engine layout. The Chevrolet Corvette offered incredible V8 performance for the money but lacked the refinement and precision many buyers expected from an international supercar. Then came the NSX, quietly demonstrating that a supercar could deliver world-class performance without demanding sacrifices from its owner. It started every morning, remained comfortable in traffic, offered outstanding visibility, and could be driven every single day without feeling intimidating. Personally, I think that's what truly separated the NSX from almost everything else on the market. It wasn't designed to scare its driver, it was designed to inspire confidence. At the heart of the car was Honda's remarkable C30, a 3.0-liter naturally aspirated V6 featuring the company's revolutionary VTEC system. Unlike large displacement engines that relied purely on torque, the NSX rewarded drivers who explored the upper reaches of the rev range. Below high RPM it felt smooth, refined, and perfectly civilized, but once VTEC engaged, the engine transformed its personality, delivering a sharp surge of power accompanied by one of the most distinctive exhaust notes of the era. It wasn't simply fast, it felt alive. Combined with the lightweight aluminum chassis, near-perfect balance, and razor-sharp steering, the NSX became one of the most rewarding driver's cars ever produced. Automotive journalists around the world praised its precision and predictability, while many professional racing drivers admired how approachable it felt even at the limit. But perhaps the most fascinating part of the NSX story wasn't how it competed with Ferrari, it was how Ferrari responded. After driving the NSX, Ferrari engineers reportedly realized that customer expectations had changed. Drivers no longer wanted a supercar that was exciting only on perfect roads and frustrating everywhere else. They wanted performance without unnecessary compromises. Many historians believe the arrival of the NSX influenced the development philosophy behind later Ferrari models, encouraging greater refinement, improved ergonomics, and higher build quality. Whether directly or indirectly, Honda had forced one of the world's most famous supercar manufacturers to evolve. The influence of the NSX extended far beyond Italy. It showed the automotive industry that advanced engineering, reliability, and everyday usability could coexist with genuine exotic performance. Even today, many modern supercars follow principles that the NSX helped popularize more than 3 decades ago. Over time, the NSX also became a favorite among enthusiasts and tuners. Unlike many exotics that owners were afraid to modify, the NSX developed a vibrant aftermarket community. Companies such as Spoon Sports, Mugen, Comtech, and later Science of Speed created performance upgrades that allowed owners to unlock even more potential while preserving the car's remarkable balance. Some focused on naturally aspirated tuning, extracting additional power from the VTEC engine, while others pushed the platform even further with supercharger and turbocharger conversions. Yet despite these possibilities, many enthusiasts believe the greatest strength of the NSX is how complete it feels in factory form. It doesn't need extreme horsepower to deliver an unforgettable driving experience. Looking back today, it's easy to see why values have continued to rise year after year. The NSX wasn't simply another Japanese sports car, it became a symbol of what happens when engineers are allowed to chase perfection instead of marketing trends. Personally, I believe the Acura NSX is one of the few cars that genuinely changed the automotive world. It proved that innovation could defeat tradition, that precision could rival passion, and that a company known for practical family cars could build one of the greatest supercars in history without abandoning the reliability and engineering philosophy that made Honda famous in the first place. The Acura NSX wasn't created to replace Ferrari, Porsche, or Lamborghini, and perhaps that's exactly why it became one of the most important supercars ever built. Honda never tried to imitate Europe, they simply asked a different question: what if a supercar could deliver breathtaking performance without sacrificing reliability, comfort, or confidence? The answer changed the automotive world forever. Personally, I believe the NSX is one of the greatest engineering achievements of the 20th century because it proved that innovation can challenge even the strongest traditions. It showed that a company famous for practical family cars and motorcycles could build a machine capable of standing beside the biggest names in the supercar world and earning their respect through engineering rather than reputation. More than 30 years later, the Acura NSX remains one of the most admired Japanese performance cars ever created. It continues to inspire collectors, racers, engineers, and enthusiasts who appreciate not only its incredible balance and timeless design but also the philosophy behind it. Without the NSX, the modern supercar might have evolved very differently. It raised expectations for quality, reliability, ergonomics, and everyday usability, proving that drivers should never have to choose between excitement and dependability. That's a legacy that very few cars can claim. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more stories about the legendary cars that changed automotive history. Your support helps the channel continue bringing these incredible machines and their untold stories back to life. And now I'd love to hear your opinion. If you had the chance to own one legendary Japanese icon, would you choose the Acura NSX, the Toyota Supra Mk4, the Mazda RX-7 FD, or the Nissan Skyline GT-R R34? Let me know your choice and the reason why in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next documentary.